call the meeting to order. Do we have a motion, or do we have any additions to the agenda?
Mr. Chairman, I would just like to add the downtown planters.
I'm sorry, downtown planter?
The planters, the little
Planters.
pots, the little
All right.
square,
Put that as number 6.
okay?
Downtown planters. So I'll look for a motion to approve the agenda with the one addition of the, number 6 of downtown planters.
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Minutes for the August 10th, 2016 meeting. Any corrections, errors, additions, subtractions? If not, I'll look for a motion to approve the minutes from August 10th.
I'll make that motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, thank you. August budget, 2016. Any concerns, comments? Everything is good? All right. And we'll move to the CIP plan for 2016. Anything on there to discuss? Okay, hearing none, we will move to business, number 1. Review maintenance and park policy. This is just our annual review. Luann, are there any concerns that Kyle may have on this, or any additions or changes that he?
This is one of your goals that we set in January, and you
Yep.
established September as the month that you want to review it, so it's just an annual review.
And Kyle has, he hasn't had any, he's fine with as is also?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Any changes, to address?
Nope.
Keep it going as is?
I think so.
All right, it's been reviewed.
Do we have a motion on that, approving it?
How many games are played on that field a year?
I don't know, I'd have to go count them up in June and July, May, June, and July maybe, even starting in April if it's nice enough. There's probably 3-4 games a week on it,
On the big field?
in the big field and on the smaller fields.
Yeah,
There's
smaller
games
fields,
too.
there's a lot.
And they don't always schedule them with us, but Meredith and High does, they have JV that uses it too, so they get used in May and June a lot.
Is this maintenance only for the big ball field?
Right, well, yes, yep.
Okay, that's the one I was thinking about when I reviewed this. And that's why I asked how much that one was, how many games were actually on that.
Yeah, it gets used quite a bit. I
know.
Gosh, I walked out on probably almost 10 games this summer just to watch me and my son.
We should put a sign.
Maybe 8. I mean, there was quite a few games. And,
Are they high school games or?
a lot of them are Mayor Lutheran. I think must be the JV. If it's
Yeah, the
JV.
JV plays there.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know it was the JV team until Luann said that, but.
I'll make a motion to approve the,
Mayor Belfield policy.
ball field policy.
Give it a second.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion on that? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 2, the discussion on the purchase of omnibus.
You asked me to put this on here, and then after our conversation that we had at the last meeting, with Commissioner Johnson brought up about climbing equipment and how that was important, and I just happened to get a flyer from Midwest Playscape on climbers and the cost. So I thought that maybe you wanted to, I don't know if you want to look at both, if you want to purchase, or what you want to do, but I thought it was just another option for you to have out there if it's something you wanted to install.
And that was the back, that's the back one, right
Yep.
here, right? Yeah, I asked to bring it back once we found the grant we could apply for their
Right.
Christopher, has everyone heard that?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
'cause
you
I
sent out
emailed-
an email.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I
That's-
should have looked sooner.
I'm sorry.
I apologize for that.
No, you did. My thought was, you know what, maybe we still move forward. I don't know if we wanna wait, when we first talked about the Omni spin and it was, 8,000, whatever comes in it, maybe we should continue to move forward, and I at least wanna have the discussion if we should, so. And again, if it's a different piece and there's other ones that are a better option, I'm fine with it, but I wouldn't be opposed to using some of the fund we have, or, seeing how our budget aligns, if there's some money, there now.
I must have missed that, so we did not get the grant?
We
No,
cannot
Can't apply.
We couldn't apply, we have to wait 3 cycles or 4 cycles before we can reapply again.
Okay.
So it puts us to December of 2017, I believe,
Okay.
before we can apply again. I don't remember, I wrote it down, I'd have to look. But yeah, I didn't realize that until I went to apply for the grant, and said you're ineligible if you just received one.
Sure, okay.
from them. But I also gave to you this little article about planning for parks with persons with disabilities at your desk. This was in the Metropolitan Council's, newsletter that they send out.
As I'm breezing through it quick, does it kinda recommend kind of equipment or things to
It's just saying
do?
that, if you're gonna, people with, this is like a, regional staff, they hosted a panel discussion about it. And these were some of the things that the panel came up with, that park destinations need to have a physical street address. Ours doesn't. Westridge Park does not. So that the Metro Mobility can connect people to the park, so they can drop them off, so they have a place.
Oh, sure.
Signage should be high contrast colors with a format that enables people with low vision, so when we're putting up signs. Planners should aim higher than the minimum ADA, so we should be doing more than we have to do with ADA
Yeah.
requirements. And universal design, and then hire artists with disabilities to decorate and paint the park, because that draws people
I
to
like
the
that.
park.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, it would be, wouldn't it?
I like
Yeah.
that, yeah.
Yep. So those are just some things
Good.
that they said, here's how we get participation, or more people to participate with differing abilities to come to parks.
So I don't know, I personally think it's something we should look for, I'll continue to move forward on, and again,
Absolutely.
the budget itself, we may have to look at the exact numbers, where we're at, and I can't remember how much the shelter was gonna come in at
About $28,000.
with that, so.
With concrete?
But if I remember right, in 2016, we did absorb into this, the volleyball, because it went late,
Passed
so
over.
that money from 2015 went into the fund, so we could, I mean, this should reflect, what, 15,000 less?
So if you look at your 2015 and 2016 budget, where you see transfers out, in
Yeah.
2015, you transferred out 26,474, and 2016, you transferred out 31,245. That went into that 260, or
Yeah.
220 fund. So you've transferred money in there that you haven't spent all of.
Right. So I don't know, I don't know what others,
So let's
We
keep
won't-
moving forward.
if we wanna move forward with what we have decided on that, or if we wanna look at a new piece now, or.
What park did we decide to put that into?
Westridge.
That's what I thought.
Is that still something, Luann, that could get installed this year? There's still enough time?
I don't know. I'll tell you, I don't know. I don't know how long it's out to order, and then, we can try.
Now, would we'll have to take this back to council,
We have
correct?
to go to council on September 26th,
Because
right.
they approved
But we could
applying
get
for
them,
the grant.
well, we didn't have to approve for the grant, because once I found out we were ineligible, I didn't put it on the, yes, they only approved us if we applied for the grant.
Right,
If you're gonna spend from the
Yeah,
220, it's gotta
yeah.
go back.
So
So
they
maybe,
approved to apply for the grant before it even met, right?
right.
Yeah,
So it has to go back to council, so that's September 26th, but maybe we get approval and get it scheduled right away for March. Because I think, well, it's Old Schoolhouse Park, Tom's gonna do the, surround around next year. But then have it in so that he can get the surround around this too.
We might have to do that though, in Westridge, 'cause we don't have enough space.
No, you're gonna have to make it bigger, and I'm saying, that's what I'm saying, you need to make it bigger before he puts the concrete part in, probably.
Right.
It makes sense to do it before then. So if you're gonna do it, you could do it next year.
Well, could we
Yeah,
order,
done.
could we get it ordered this year and just put it in the shed?
Sure.
I mean, then it's on this year's budget, we don't have to, it's paid for, it's.
Mhm. And then get
If we
it,
have the room up in the building now.
and get it scheduled for installation unless we're gonna demo that building so that you can build a park shelter.
But that won't, I don't see that happening this,
Not
Before
through
next
the winter.
spring anyway,
We'll
yeah.
let Kyle store stuff in there over winter
Yeah.
and then.
I would
Okay.
think so.
I was gonna put an RFP on the next city council to go out and find someone to demo it, but I guess we can wait till spring to do that.
Going on this, I mean, if that's something you guys are doing,
We'll move it forward and then just see what they wanna do. Maybe they'll wait until spring to have it done. We can still go out and find the contractor and then get it scheduled for March
right.
or April. 'Cause by the time we advertise, I get approval on the 26th, we advertise for a month, that's October.
So that's what was decided council is to demo?
Well, you guys don't want it, and we
yeah.
were gonna move it, and it's more expensive to move it and
Okay.
try to get it
Well,
restructured.
that's the last I heard, I
Yeah.
wasn't at the council meeting when they, okay. All right, so do we wanna continue with the omnibus thing, do we wanna do it now, do we wanna wait? I
Well,
mean,
so Old Schoolhouse is getting the concrete curb next year.
Correct.
When's Westridge getting concrete curb? I thought we had moved that one up because,
We moved Old Schoolhouse up because there's a problem with the
oh yeah,
drainage.
that's right.
Right,
Okay, they
remember?
flip-flopped now, yeah.
And Meadow Park, so then, well, this one says Meadow, but it's not Meadow, it's Old Schoolhouse, and then it's Meadow, and then it's Westridge.
Can we switch Meadow?
Yeah, I think
You
we
can-
flip-flopped them.
Yeah, you can.
So we're not gonna be able to install this OmniSpin until
we don't have room
we
right
don't have
now.
room.
Oh,
It's gotta be 6 foot
Right.
between any structure and the side of there. So that has to get bumped out before we can install anything else in that park.
You could still do it, I mean, and if you're taking these plastic barriers out
Yeah.
from this one, you could put them down there and put your,
oh, and then bump it out,
and bump it out where you want it.
temporarily?
Temporarily.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Or
If
do it
that-
in
if
the
that's
spring.
the solution, then I'm,
Yeah, that would work.
so then do we just wait till spring anyways? And order it and install, I mean, do that in the spring?
I don't even wanna tell you this, but your picnic shelter isn't coming till November.
November?
I called him today, finally got back to him, and he said, I don't think that's right. I thought he told me September, October. So, now it's November, he said, and I'm still gonna push him about that, but, yeah, it's November 14th, he's saying, I'll be here before then. So I don't know how long, I don't remember how long it took us to get the oodle swing, it didn't seem like it took that long, it only took a few weeks. So, I could get the order placed, because then you could purchase it probably under the 2016 prices, save maybe a little bit of money instead of 2017.
So if that shelter comes in November, best case, will it get installed then, or will we have to store, I mean,
Yeah, it
What
could
about
be.
concrete? Can you
Install.
pour concrete in November?
When they
You
want,
can't pour it in November, well,
they're gonna pour the concrete before then, 'cause
Yeah.
Tom
Okay.
Clemens is doing the footings and the concrete.
Okay.
So that'll probably be done in the next couple of weeks, and then the
Okay.
shelter just gets screwed to the plates that are,
okay. I
Okay.
was just looking at storage, and,
Well,
can
and
we
so
not
then we-
demo that building then? 'Cause if we have to store
no.
a shelter,
well,
if
maybe
they
the,
can put it up. I
I'd
mean,
tell them to hang on to it until they're ready to
Right,
install
they
it,
can
'cause we don't wanna
Okay.
store it.
right,
Okay,
right.
okay.
Yeah.
Play equipment, what do you guys,
But
wanna move
here's-
forward, wanna order?
Here's the other thing that we gotta think about, 'cause when they do the concrete for that shelter, we're gonna have to do some grading there, and I'm assuming that's not bid yet?
Sean's did it, it's in the
Okay,
con,
to
it was in the,
to fill the old ice skating area and grade all that down?
I used the amount that he wanted from, because we were gonna do a shelter with the outdoor recreation grant that we had previously. I talked to Tom about it, and Tom says, I'll deal with Sean about it, just leave that price in there, it was like $17.50. So it could be, I'm hoping it's not gonna be more, I'm hoping it's gonna remain the same, but yes, there's grading in that 28,000 that I said.
Okay. We should maybe talk to Sean. 1750 sounds really cheap.
Kyle was gonna talk to him today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because he's gonna have to haul some fill in to fill all that. And not only that, well, Clemson probably already looked at it, so he knows he's gonna need a lot more base than normal.
Right.
So,
But they could use class 5 too.
yeah, that's what I call base. Yep.
Yeah.
So it's already subcut, so we should maybe hold off for this year, because if he's gotta haul a bunch of soil in there, and next thing you know, that's a $5,000-6,000 bill for re-leveling all the soil out there from the big hole. 'Cause that actually gets it's actually a lot better now than it was last year. Last year was pretty muddy, but now all the grass is kinda taken care of.
Or where the shelter's gonna go?
Yeah, well, that was where the old ice skating rink was that somebody dug. It was an in-ground ice skating rink. So if you go out there, it goes out and it drops off.
I think they just bermed up
They just
around
burned it up, that's all they did.
Yep, well, when you look at it, he burned it the first 2 years, and then there was an issue, and then he came out and subcut it all off
Could be.
and hauled it out because it was a disaster. So he is gonna need a bunch of soil in there, and I have a feeling if he's gotta haul a bunch of soil in, that could be a larger bill.
Well, how
Are
about
you
we,
looking at-
if you really wanna do the omni-spin, I take it to the city council, get approval, but I won't order it till after the next, park board meeting, because then we'll know for sure what's happening
Sure.
at the park shelter.
I'll take
Then
care
it's
of
taken care of, and then
Yep.
we can, I don't wanna get where we're at with this picnic shelter
Well, yeah, let's,
so if you really wanna do it, we can do it, and I'll get permission from the council, but I won't order it till I talk to you guys again.
That sounds good.
I like
I'm
that.
cool with that.
I'm good with that, I think that's a good idea. Yeah, do we need a motion for that?
Please.
To go to council?
Yes.
Okay, I'll look for a motion to have Luann go to council, to purchase the Omni-Spin.
Make the motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
So you saying we need a lot of clay fill down there to build up?
Mhm.
He's looking for a lot of areas to get rid of fill.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I'd wanna make sure before we go and
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. Do we wanna look at any of these little dome things then too? Is that something,
I think we
climbers?
should keep that and look at, I mean, I think we should keep.
When did you wanna look at them again then?
Do they sell just basic monkey bars
That's
these
what,
days?
these are new monkey bars, that's the way they look, and the dome one is up here.
Yeah.
That's about as basic as they get, Alyssa.
You don't have the, just post and then post?
I suppose they do, with the ladder across, do you want more of a
Yeah.
ladder?
Yeah,
I can look for that for you
Like
and
a
see what I can find.
Old school seventies version,
Yeah.
which
Where
are
kids
probably,
climb up a little ladder and, kinda like the swing set my parent, in my parents' backyard, that metal one. I don't know.
I'll see if I can find something and bring it back to the next
you
meeting.
could even do like this squiggly one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one out here goes around.
Yeah, see what you can find.
Okay.
The basic.
Cause if we're gonna bump it out, we might as well bump it out a little more than we need. If we're gonna have these curbing, plastic curbing, we might as well do what we want.
Now's
and
the
then-
time to do it,
yeah.
yeah. All right, planting trees, or, planning of park amenities
So,
for 2017.
I took what's on the CIP and did this little gantry chart. And if you had noticed, so we aren't in November putting up another picnic shelter. I'm saying we need to plan them in October, recommend to the council so they can, in 14 days, then they can approve it, and authorize the park shelter. We can order it, it's 8 to 10 weeks to order it. And then in April, the site work and pad construction can start, after 2 weeks, then the park shelter can go up, because I think it takes 2 weeks for concrete to cure. And then final punch list items too, I don't know that there would be any, but I'm just putting that in there. So, that would get us to construction in May. The trees, decide on the tree replacement in January, I'd order the trees then in January, and we get them planted in April. Curbing at Old Schoolhouse, Park Board recommends the curbing to the council sometime in October. They authorize it for 2017, we'll schedule it with the contractor and get it scheduled for, in October, and we'll, get them to start installing sometime in April then.
Has anybody gone up and looked at?
Well, I have
Discovery?
pictures for you.
I've been up there.
Yeah, I went up there.
It looks, I mean, that is a stout curb. You can drive equipment right
Oh,
over it.
I know.
I mean, he does,
You wanna
it's
pass
a,
them around?
it's a great, that's gonna be really
Bunch of
nice.
pictures, there's
I
four
mean, I
of
think
them.
it might be overkill.
Gotta be 8 inches wide.
Oh, it's 12 wide, 12
Is it 12
to
wide?
15 deep. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's deep, I know, but
It,
it doesn't look 12 to me, but it may be.
it looks like it might be overkill, but for, I mean, him, it's probably easier that way, then you can run right over it with the equipment and it's not gonna move or pop.
Yeah, I was up there. I thought it was gonna be a little more decorative than just that, but I was envisioning more of a,
Most of it's gonna be buried.
you know, a little bit not nicer, but a little more decorative is what I was imagining, but
So can you have this gantry at each council or every park board meeting?
Sure.
Thank you. So we
Sure.
stay on track.
Well, most of it's gonna have to happen in October and January, but yeah, I can. For the next, I don't know if you wanna go with the same company for the park shelter for October, in October, I mean, they were cheaper than the rest. You wanna do that again?
probably, yeah.
We talking for up here?
Yeah.
Well, I would
No.
say let's,
I don't know where you wanna do it. You have, these are what's on the CIP for 2017.
Okay. I
And
think
so that's all I did.
No, I think this looks good.
Yeah.
You know, anything we can do in October, November,
Yep.
so it's planned, and
Ready to
once
go.
it's approved in the December or January budget cycle, then in January you can start
Get
ordering it.
Get going, yeah. Agreed.
in planning board,
Mhm.
you know, your, start day with construction, like some of the curbing and some of that depends on the weather.
Yep.
The frost, so whether it happens in April or May.
Mhm.
But when you got something like this, you got targets, and then you can adjust them accordingly.
Yeah.
But between January and that start day, you can have contractors lined up, so you're not waiting.
Mhm.
You're not at their mercy at that point.
Yep.
So is it better to install the curbing in the spring when we're dealing, but now, I understand this August is rainier than typical,
Mhm.
or are we better off closing the park in the fall, like, you know, now, or closing it in the spring where we're not, now we have to deal with rain and it may be closed a lot what's,
I would say it's better to do it like we are now.
I tend to think so myself, but I'm not, I don't know,
Like, it's actually a pretty good time right when they go back to school.
yeah,
Mhm.
'cause now
I've
the
seen
park's
that
Because
closed.
when the
This has
weather's
been-
50, 60 degrees in the spring, kids wanna get out and play, and parents wanna send them outside to play.
Yeah.
And then when it's 50, 60 degrees in the fall.
If you can get it done, if it's a small enough project, you can get it
Get
in and
Yeah.
done before they get out of school.
Well,
Mhm.
this edging's, I
It's
mean,
a big-
this has been closed for almost a month now up here, hasn't it?
Right, but it's because it rains
Well,
and
we
stuff.
may have to deal with that in April and May too.
But the other thing is if this gets done because of the Rising Community Festival too, so that we can have it done by July, just knowing that it's gotta be done. I
Yeah.
mean,
Okay, yeah.
and it'd look a little bit nicer too then.
Good point.
I mean, they still have the community parks, except for Coldwater doesn't.
Well, and hopefully the city council hires Kyle some help, so that he has some help, because this probably could have been done sooner. It would have probably be finished if he had help, because I went up there today before he hauled up mulch. He was putting mulch in it, and then he's gotta back spread it all and then reseed it too yet, you know. So if he had someone to help him, he probably would be a little bit further ahead than he is too.
Okay, all right. No, I think this is a good planning tool.
So what do you need me to bring about park shelters to the next meeting?
I would say, Do we have that pamphlet on the sizes and the materials and all that still?
Yep.
So we can kinda review what we're gonna want for that park and,
Okay.
We can go over the whole list.
right.
You put the building together, you put the colors together, you list your garbage cans, you list your tables that you want in it. You make a complete inventory of everything.
But making sure that we're also staying uniform with everything else in the city,
Correct.
so.
So are you gonna do another, just like you did in Westridge?
Probably.
So maybe I should have him come out and look at it and measure it up so so he can give me some bids on some different sizes too, with
He'll
what
come out, sure,
concrete's
yeah.
there, okay.
Maybe useful information, and don't use it, we don't use it, but
Okay.
Is this a shelter to replace the shelter up there?
I don't know, is that what you wanted to do?
Cause yeah, we were gonna tear it down.
Well, I guess I wasn't sure which one we were working on this year, but if that's it, yeah.
Yeah, this is for the one for here.
I would remove all the concrete, start over.
well, that's, we have that opportunity now, we can move it a different way, I mean, we don't, if it's gonna come out, it doesn't necessarily have to be on that footprint.
Yeah. I think it'd be nice if we spun it, so it went this way.
Exactly.
Then you could put your park stuff or your picnic shelter part on that side and bathrooms on this side, so then you can still see all the parks when you're in the picnic shelter. But we can, yeah.
Okay.
I think there's certainly that opportunity to move it. All
I
right.
think that guy should put a wish list together for that. And then we can agree to disagree on that wish list and work from there.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
I mean, that's part of the planning that needs to be done in October, November, so it can be bid.
And if we're getting into restrooms, then we're gonna have architectural drawings probably too.
Correct.
And that's even gonna take more time.
Right.
You know, I think if we get everybody's idea together
Yep.
with a list of,
This is what we want.
you know, what you want, whether you want stainless steel doors or plastic doors or whatever on, in the bathrooms. You know, if you got a pretty good list of what you want, they can take that and incorporate it into a
Right,
building real quick.
right,
Yeah.
It's better than going back and forth a number of times and spending extra money. So, if you're in and out of stuff like that, and you gotta, one thing I would recommend is what they call a high velocity flush. It's a power flush toilet, because the low volume toilets we have in our homes plug real easy. So if you use these other style, you don't have plugged toilets every time you go in them. So, that's just one thing I'd look at as soon as we start looking at them. And we kinda got those plans that you sent out to us before, but we can take them.
all those pictures, are you talking about,
The
Bruce?
pictures and the plans, the floor layout,
Okay,
we can decide if that's the size we want. You know, so when we ship it to an architect, it's just kind of almost a boilerplate, this is what we want.
okay.
Yeah, it'll be a big project. Take a lot of
It'll be
planning.
really nice up here though. That'd look real nice right there.
It will. Okay, anything more on planning for 2017?
So that's the three big projects on the CIP is, the shelter, the trees, and, curbing.
Curbing.
And then we'll move this oodle spin into next year.
Okay. And probably just take it out of your 220 fund then.
Yeah.
Unless we purchase it this year and store it, we'll have to see.
So is there a map of the trees that need to be replaced?
No, not yet.
Do we,
Do you wanna map the trees that need to be replaced?
Well, it says decide on tree replacement, so,
For next year, you're talking about?
yeah.
Yeah, I can get a map of the trees.
Yeah, so we know how many and
And Kyle knows that,
Right.
the areas.
okay.
I know there's a couple up in Fieldstone, a couple in Meadow.
Well, the ones in Fieldstone he trimmed back, because Tim Osh had told me that if you have a tree that's dead branches and you trim it back, and get all the dead gone, the tree will come back. Well, we actually did that. We had a tree in the yard that looked terrible, absolutely horrible, and it was dead, and it's from not being watered correctly. We trimmed everything back, and now this year, it is just, it's a gorgeous tree again. So he trimmed those ones on the boulevard, hoping that that will work. I asked him to, and took the one out. So there's one that needs to be replaced on the boulevard up there, if that's what we're gonna do, but yeah, in talking about those. So hopefully if we just hang on and see, and give those trees a little bit of a chance, they may come back, so.
Yeah, we'll get a map together.
Okay.
We'll need to.
Yeah.
All right, trees in Old Schoolhouse Park?
So you had asked me to contact this, company,
Yes.
and I did. And then their responses there also as to what was wrong with the tree. So I got a hold of this S&S tree and horticultural specialist, and he said, I believe the ash trees are being affected by a verticillum wilt, causes large and separate branches to defoliate and possibly die back. However, trees may recover, so it would not be necessary to take the trees down at this point, but instead to monitor in coming years. And then he attached the thing on the information, so. At this point, we aren't gonna take them down.
Good, okay. And you passed that on. Was it Counselor Kyle who first
Kyle,
was, okay.
or
You made
Kyle
him
and I,
you
it was
made him
Kyle
aware
and
of
I,
this? Okay.
yes, Rich did,
Okay.
yep,
Perfect, thank you.
yep.
Next meeting date, October 11th? All right. And how about downtown planters?
I'm gonna have them picked up. And they're asking me, do we want them the same for next year as they were for this year? Do you have any changes to colors or plants or anything that they put in them? They look okay, because they actually order these plants in December, yes.
I thought they looked okay, but.
Yeah, I thought they were fine.
so,
I'd say keep them.
Yeah, I'd say go ahead.
Okay,
I'm good with that.
same?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good. All right.
Great.
I think that's everything. Commissioner reports?
I just had one question. For the trees that are overhanging, like, the sidewalk, the walkway on the main street on 25, who is responsible for trimming those trees back? Is it the homeowner?
Depends upon where the trees are. Are they in the boulevard or in the lot?
They're on their lot, but the trees are overhanging the
Then it's the
sidewalk
homeowner's
walkway.
responsibility, probably. If it's in the
Is there
boulevard,
anything
it's
that says
ours.
they have to do that, or is that just?
No, it's technically not their responsibility to trim it. It is their tree to trim, but it's aerial trespassing, so Kyle can trim it if he wants.
Okay,
That's what I kinda thought, because it's over a public space.
Yeah.
where's it at?
On the northeast corner of 25 and 30. So, yeah. That house. Hmm? What is it?
Hanslick's?
One by the shrine, by our sign?
Yeah, just north of that.
Yeah, that one.
Cause I'm thinking of all the bikers that, you know, and all the people that are walking.
Can't walk under that one very much.
No, you can't.
You can attempt to ask them to trim it.
We can ask them, and if they don't, then we will.
Helmer's house.
Helmer, Halverson.
Does he still own it?
No, there's somebody else who lives there now.
See, technically Kyle cannot go onto his property and trim it, but he can stand on the sidewalk and prune it
Just
up on
kinda
the
go up.
city's property.
Cause I'm like, if I have to really duck to go under it, and then I'm thinking of all the bikers who kinda come off the trail and go into town, and it's like, okay, if they're sitting on their bikes and they're that much higher than me, and, you know.
I deal with this all the time.
Okay.
Customers' trees, and he won't cut his tree, and this guy cuts their tree, and it's just back and forth.
You can talk to Mike Hensel.
Why?
Because
also, I was gonna mention, Luann kinda gave an update on, at council yesterday, on all the I think we've hit them all. The, curbing where we're at, now the park shelter, we're into November. Wasn't the cement, didn't we kinda group all these together as a cost savings, have them for the pad and the handicap stuff and that all at once?
I don't know if he's gonna do the curbing, but he's gonna do the handicap bathroom and the pad for the park
Oh, I
shelter.
was under the impression we could do all these jobs, you know,
We were
get one
talking about
cement
it,
truck
but-
in and,
Well, do you want him to? But then, I don't think you want him to now, because if you're gonna do an omni-spin, you don't know exactly how big you're gonna want that concrete down there,
concrete what?
around the curbing in Westridge.
Well, yeah, no, I thought the Discovery Park one, when he did that one, he was then gonna pour
Oh, that's too much.
No,
for
he
the
me.
couldn't.
pad and pour it all at once.
No, he doesn't have enough forms
Oh,
to do
okay.
it, it would be too much for him to
Okay.
do. Right.
When's he is he gonna do the pad soon then?
I would, yes, I tried
Okay.
calling him yesterday, I think Kyle's was gonna get a hold of Sean. And so then Sean and Tom need to get things figured out here. Because Tom had asked me for how, he wants someone to shoot, an elevation for him, and I think Sean can do that, is what Kyle thought. So he knows what the top of the slab, where the top of the slab needs to be.
Yeah,
Yeah, so,
just get him for,
So we think based on where it's gonna be, there may be additional there may be additional costs,
maybe.
yeah.
but they didn't bid it for at what we need, or was it kind of, well, we think it's gonna be this, but we don't know, or how? It's bid, isn't it?
Right, Sean gave me a bid of $17.50, and a lot of times he'll do stuff really reasonable for us anyway.
Oh, okay.
And so, he may have done that with this, I don't know, and he knew where it was gonna go, he had looked at it before, so I just left it the same, and I talked to Tom about it, and Tom said he would deal with Sean on it.
I just
so.
get concerned when I hear there may be another 5,000 and
Well,
like, wow,
you
where?
said, you know,
That shouldn't be the case.
like he said, they're always looking to get rid of fill. But, you know, I just wanna make sure that he knows kinda what we want.
Mhm.
That we want that leveled off so that there's positive drainage and it's not a swamp hole.
I think we should make sure that the elevation he's giving him is the elevation we're looking for. So I don't know if you wanna go down with Luann and look at that, or Kyle, to make sure that he's not giving us an elevation that might be too low, so it'd be sitting in a
Yeah.
drainage area.
Yeah.
Is there a way to secure the porta potties to like the little fencing around the outside? Because I know we had to remove that one in metal because someone kept tipping it over. So is there any way to secure a porta potty to the little fencing that we have around it, or to the pad or something?
That'd be a question for the company.
Yeah, 'cause they'll need to have to unhook it to,
Remove
I
it.
suppose not.
Well, I don't know, why
They-
couldn't you put a board across the top where they couldn't push it out? Just, above the door. It would be
Yeah.
attached to the two walls. Why couldn't you do that?
And then just take it out when they gotta pull it out, just
Right,
remove it.
Yeah,
Right.
when you know they're coming, just take it out.
Well, or you could do them on screws with padlocks or something too, but kids could cut those too. But you could do them with screws, with bolts,
Just as easy to.
nail them and unnail them, yeah. I don't know, I will check with Kyle about that.
I
Just
just have
curious.
So is it gone out of that park because it kept getting
Yeah.
tipped?
Yeah.
And they
Have
kept
the-
dumping it over and dumping it over, and I
Oh,
said,
really?
this is enough, we're just gonna take it out of here.
Oh,
Have
And,
the,
yeah, we
have the
should get that
company
back.
that do it,
Well, not now.
Yeah, not now.
work with Kyle to just secure it somehow.
yeah,
Can't be that difficult.
Right,
No.
right.
Yeah, I figured other people have gotta be securing their porta potties to something.
Actually, a lot of them secure them to the ground, they drive stakes in, but you can't in concrete, so
Yeah.
if it's a matter of putting an eyelet in the structure, they can snap a chain to, can't be too difficult.
Alright.
Do we know who's doing it?
And it's only that one part, and I gotta tell you, it's a shock to me one day.
For the same kids that cause it,
they're riding four-wheelers, there's dirt bikes in there too and stuff, yeah.
Alright, any other reports, staff reports, any?
At the council meeting last night, Luann brought back the flashing crosswalk signs,
Mhm.
so you guys know that we're looking at moving forward with them. There's a increase in cost of $1,000 a piece?
Couple grand, yeah.
And which three places are they gonna be in?
We're looking at two.
Oh, two, okay, so,
One down here by the fire station,
okay.
and the one down by Hidden
where somebody took out the stand-up sign.
Where
Yeah.
they
Both
took,
of them have been.
they did both.
Both
Yeah.
2 times.
MinDOT says they don't want them flashing all the time,
Correct.
so they're requesting that we put push buttons in.
That only flash when you push the button.
Correct. So,
Makes sense.
last night I asked Luann to look into what it's gonna cost to install them, because we may have to bore underneath the highway to hook the switches together so they work together, even though they're, solar.
So you don't have to, Bruce. I emailed her this morning already, she responded to me. They radio read back and forth and talk to each other, so we don't have to bore.
Wonderful.
So I will be bringing it back to the next council meeting, and then I'm gonna figure out where we're gonna take it out of what budget, so,
Okay.
so we have it, so we, if you wanna install them both, yep.
So we're starting to move forward with that, hopefully gonna.
It's just taken forever because MinDOT, I don't know, if they lost our permits, but they didn't approve them till the 9th of September. It's like, what the heck, and I had to call them, where are you on this? So, happened the last time too.
Is there plans to do all crosswalks?
No, just where there's pedestrian crossings,
Well,
We
there's
do.
some roundabout. Why won't we have in the roundabout?
because we don't have connecting sidewalk to it.
Mhm.
Where's the sidewalk that connects to it?
Oh, okay. It's still crosswalks.
And you can't even get over the median,
But
so.
there's no way to, it doesn't connect any
Can't get
sidewalk.
there, okay.
Mhm.
Is that their only crosswalk? We don't have any other ones?
Not that are designated crosswalks,
Yes,
no.
right,
But the bike crossing is not a designated one either.
right.
The county won't designate it, we've
No.
asked them.
Have we ever looked into hidden crossing, there's a crosswalk there?
Yes, and the county refused to lower the speed limit or to put a crosswalk sign up. We did that a while ago as a park board, I know we did.
Mhm.
Cause that was one of the things that we had asked them to do and they wouldn't put it across the road.
I just know there's a lot of residents that
Lot of
cross
cars.
there to get on that
A lot of
road,
kids.
like,
Mm-hmm.
I come home the other night, there was people standing there, and actually they were standing out at the other entrance to cross, and it's like,
Maybe we wanna try that again.
wow, you know.
Good, 'cause do you remember we did?
It wasn't a crosswalk, it was something else that we wanted to put there.
We asked them if they'd
Thought
put
it
a,
was a stop sign.
no, we asked them to
No,
put in a
it was a cross
crosswalk,
sign.
across the County Road 30. I know we did.
No, we did.
You remember that?
Mhm.
Is that part of our trail connections, where we could consider that
We could
we're
make,
trying to connect that link with a crosswalk?
we could make that argument maybe, 'cause I think it was when the Dakota Regional Trail first came in, we asked them to do that. That's what I think.
I think we should pursue it.
I think
Yeah,
you got
county
good sight lines
commissioners.
there.
We got good county commissioners, ask them what it takes to get it done.
Did you wanna make a motion to direct me to, I'd probably should take city council and see.
Yeah, that's a council, that's what,
Yep.
that's council's, deal, you know, I think they should.
Well, you could make a recommendation that they ask the county, unless you don't want to, unless you want me to just take it.
Well, we can make a motion, make a recommendation to pursue a crosswalk there, or
Between
The
Disney Crossing
feasibility
and
of
Hidden
it.
Creek.
Okay?
I'll make a motion.
all right, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Yeah, that'd be good. It's worth looking at it again. All right, any other reports? I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that.
Do we have a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye.